Gratitude is a very powerful spiritual practice, and I can show you how it can solve or fix every single thing that's wrong with you, just as one simple habit. First, let's explore the idea that of compulsive negativity. Have you ever noticed people who cannot say anything positive, who can only complain? You tend to see it as people get older also. The older they get, the more negative they are. You also see it a lot it's one of the ways it's expressed is in the constant distrust of institutions, governments, economies, conspiracies. Not saying that those things are not valid. I'm just saying that there are people whose minds are constantly preoccupied with these things. They're constantly looking out to see if the government is up to something, or if the media is up to something, or even on a smaller scale. I don't trust my doctor, I don't trust my neighbor, I don't trust the guy at the grocery store, I don't trust that my housekeeper, I don't trust any of them. And they're constantly looking out to see what's happening or who's about to do something to them. You can term these things compulsive negativity or hypervigilance. It is the mind's tendency to constantly be on the lookout for what is happening. And those people feel, I'm not judging them, I used to be like that. I literally ran my life based on compulsive negativity and hypervigilance for 10 years. My early career was in environmental management, and I spent so much of my time angry and protesting. I'm not judging people who do this. I'm just telling you my healing journey. So let me just refer to my own self. When I was going through that phase, what I didn't realize is that I was preoccupied by the mind. I was immersed in the thought streams of the mind, and I was caught in what you would call a trauma response. Compulsive negativity and hypervigilance are forms of trauma response. When something bad happens to you, you become obsessed with making sure it doesn't happen again. If your house burned down, I once lived with a lady whose home burned down, and she was constantly afraid of her home burning down again. Of course, to a certain extent, this is very understandable, but the mind will always take things beyond the level of reason, beyond, acceptable levels of vigilance, and the mind always tends to go towards compulsiveness. So, whatever happens to you, somebody abandoned you, somebody left you, somebody cheated on you, somebody lied to you, somebody made fun of you, somebody, whatever, you name it. It usually happens in your youth, before the age of 7. It usually happens with your parents. Sometimes with your close relatives, your brothers, your sisters, your teachers. But it also builds throughout your life. Anything that happens to you, it creates a pain. And your mind uses that pain as a way to make the mind relevant to you. So you begin to identify with every single thing that the mind has to say. If the mind constantly gave you thoughts of, I think it's going to rain today, I think it's going to rain today, you're probably not going to listen to the mind 100% of the time, because you're not really that worried about rain. But if the mind comes at you with the pain that you're still sensitive to, then the mind is going to get you to pay attention to it. If the mind says that guy is going to cheat on you, this person's about to steal, that your employee is stealing from you, your neighbor is trying to kill your pet, whatever it is, the mind will get your attention if the mind cloaks itself, wears the clothing of a recent pain, or not even a recent pain, a raw pain, a pain that is still raw. So all of this is to say that as you go through life and you accumulate pains, you also accumulate thought streams in your mind that obsessively look out to make sure that the pain doesn't happen again, right? What is the point of this on a spirituality basis? How does it help to know this? Spiritually speaking, there are two ways of existing. You exist as the separate individual, controlled by the mind, immersed in thoughts. Or You exist in your true nature. This first nature is an illusion. If you're not existing in this, then you're existing in your true nature, which is to say that you are an eternal being, existing in peace and stillness, joy and contentment, and who is one and the same with the force that created that being, that body, temporarily to exist in this world. You are the same thing as Source, and you are the same thing as everything that Source created. And that thing is love. Your nature is love. Your experience is love. And you are utterly and totally connected with everything. You cannot, in any given split second, live in both of those worlds. People jump from one to the other throughout the day, fair enough. Even from second to second, you can be, I feel connected and divine, I feel alone and afraid. But you cannot really have both. So generally speaking, by the time you're an adult, by the time you're 30, 40 years old, you're a complete mess, you've completely forgotten all of this stuff, and you're over here, and you're just this trembling mass of fear. And we call it anxiety, we call it depression, we call it addictions, we call it OCD, we call it PTSD, whatever, but it is some form of this. And in order to heal this, you do not, a lot of what's out there, therapies, medications try to fix the chemical things that contribute to this, which is fine, that exists, right? And therapy, psychology tries to treat the mind that is creating this and tries to fix the mind, which has some validity to it. You can train a mind, you can hone a mind, you can discipline a mind. But the mind does not need to be disciplined. The mind needs to be liberated, or the consciousness needs to be liberated from the constant attention to the mind. Let the mind be. Do not try to fix it. Shift away from the mind and recognize what the mind is doing to you. Okay, so how do you do that? I always, especially when it's difficult, especially when you're completely immersed in that negativity and you need immediate relief, I always recommend gratitude. Why gratitude? Because gratitude, not only does it retrain the mind that has become compulsively negative and is very much addicted to negativity and is so negative it doesn't even realize that it's negative anymore. Gratitude will retrain that mind. But more specifically, gratitude will shift you completely from this place to this place. Because gratitude is a way of perceiving. A way of perceiving is just another way of saying a consciousness. Gratitude is a consciousness. And a consciousness is just another way of saying a dimension. So gratitude, a state of gratitude, is literally a dimension. I've been asked this recently. When I write my gratitude list, do I have to feel gratitude and feel my heart leaping with joy and feel chills and stuff? No, you don't. Not yet. You will. You will one day find yourself writing a gratitude list and you will be crying. But you don't need to do that in the beginning. What you just need to do is resist the tug, the gravitational pull of the mind and its strong desire for negativity and the comfort that it has started to find in negativity. You find a little bit of comfort in being negative, but it's enough to attract you, like a little bit of dopamine or something. It's like, let me just watch some news, or let me just see something on Facebook or somewhere, or some news stream that's going to piss me off. Let me gossip with a friend, or let me come home and trauma dump on my family and tell them all the horrible things I've seen today. Because somehow that's going to make me feel a little bit better. But that's not really persistent well-being. Gratitude is, if you can hold that state, is persistent well-being. Okay, so I'm trying to make these videos short and to keep the teachings concise. Please let me know how you're relating to this. I genuinely enjoy your comments. I will link at the end of this video, or you can go find it if I forget, a recent video that I did called Morning Gratitude. It is the decision. It is a small guided meditation or gratitude rampage of like 4 minutes that you can play every morning. I personally listen to it every morning. My husband actually likes listening to it at night also, whatever. Listen to it whenever you're feeling down, if you just want a little boost. And it's sort of like building momentum. It's like, getting stuck in mud or something and you just gotta get out of it. Get into gratitude. Listen to that to start your day on the right foot and to give you a fighting chance to hold that energy or that consciousness or that dimension throughout your day. I'm going to do another video soon, and that's going to be on how to develop the consciousness, or how to build the muscle that helps you hold the consciousness of gratitude. Okay, so look forward to that and let me know how you're enjoying these. Have a wonderful day, everyone.